Hello, I'm early. What did I do? No, I'm on the right step. Okay, I'm starting a new project today. And I'm starting. That's why I can't do that. Hi, Linda. I'm assuming you're around and I'll see you when you get a chance. I started early. Just because I can, because I'm going to be futzing around. I've got stuff to futz around with, and there's no point. I can futz with the camera on or the camera off, so it doesn't matter to me. Okay, so I'm starting my new project. I'm using this fabric, which is glow in the dark. I'm using this one. These are it's a very small difference between these two. This one is a little larger. Let me see if I can get the camera out a little ways. It's always a challenge to get the camera aiming the way I want it to. So this is solid mushrooms, and this is a little bit more spread out. They're not really. It's hard to tell. It's kind of hard to tell. These ones have little houses in the shadowy area is like little house shapes, like, so it's hidden houses in the forest of mushrooms, where this is just the mushrooms. It's a really busy fabric. What we're going to do is we're going to have this solid ultra black between them. So we'll have a block of that, a block of this, and then a block of this. Of course, I'm laying this out so amazingly, such a professional look here, right? So that's to break them up a little bit. It'll really show up after dark when they're glowing in the dark. So I'm doing this entirely quilt as you go. And the first thing I have to do is these are going into the middle, and I've got 5 of them. So this is the FAFO part of the project. I know I'm taking these and I'm going to go around them with one row of black and then one row of the really tiny mushrooms. And I'm going around them like that and doing each one. And those are going to be in the center. And then I'm going to be going one each of 4 of these. I've got an entire plan, but I didn't write. Okay, I wrote it down. I just don't know where my notebook went. Anyway, this is the first step, getting this done. I am not 100% sure where I'm sitting, so that goes there. That goes there. This is easy. This I needed this to be. I've got Jenny, hi. Yeah, I'm starting a few minutes early. So this is new project day. So what this is I've taken a big chunk of fabric and I've cut 25 inches out. I need 25 by 25 inch for the backing, for the quilt as you go backing. So what I did was I cut it out carefully so I could have this as one long strip. This is... It's not as wasteful. Okay, you guys know what I'm always, you know, well, you or whoever else wonders in. I've got a slightly over 18-inch, 6 yard long strip, which is perfect for other projects that I work on. So I get to use solid black for the next little while. And we know that I use black for almost everything. So this even though the 25-inch cut seemed okay. A piece of fabric is folded in half and it goes with the fabric. Is this with the fabric? This is not with the fabric. Anyway, of course I do. Okay. This is how you get fabric from the fabric store. And it's the width of the fabric, which means, but it always comes folded. So when you unfold it, that's 42 inches wide, but I need a 25-inch piece, which means that I have to go over the halfway mark. I need 25 by 25 inch pieces, which means I'm going partway over the halfway mark and getting these these less than 25-inch pieces left over. So there's the halfway mark, and I'm cutting to here-ish. So, but because we're doing it in black, and because I'm always backing or accenting or doing whatever in black, I've got plenty. I'm going to be able to get this. I'm going to be able to get this used up, because what I should be doing in a normal quilt, what I would then do, because this is going to be from the back, right? In a normal quilt, what I would then do is sew this piece together, these pieces. I would sew two of these together to get a wide enough piece to get more 25-inch pieces. Does that make sense? But I'm not going to do that. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to do that with, I need 25. I need 25-inch pieces. But anyway, this is one of those do as I say, not as I do moments. This is a do as I say and not as I do moment, because I'm incredibly fortunate to have, I am incredibly fortunate to have the stash that I do in the amounts that I do. Which way am I going with this? I have a huge I have a huge stash of fabric that I can be incredibly lazy about how I'm conserving fabric, because everything I had was purchased for the shop. And like I said, I say this every time. You guys must get, you must be getting sick of hearing it, Jenny, because I know that you're just hanging out and don't even really sew unless you absolutely have to. But I always like to repeat this for the benefit of anybody who's wandering in looking for tips or thoughts. If you have a massive stash and can afford to be lazy about how you calculate your waste, then go for it. But no, what I technically should be doing is taking these pieces, sewing them together, and then getting one more. Hey, Minnie. Okay, if the value of the fabric, because fabric is fucking expensive. So if I was looking at this from a cost issue, I would either be doing smaller squares or sewing these two together to get as many squares out of all of this as I can. But I'm doing tote bags. I'm doing shit all the time. And my next project, just so you guys will know where I'm at, but my next project is the other half of this fabric was half mushrooms, or this collection was half mushrooms and half moons. My next collection is going to be moons, and that's going to be for me, and I will be able to use a ton of the smaller pieces for that project. Anyway. Yeah, well, the sewing babble gets the conversation started. Anyway, so that's, now, where is my notebook? I'll get my notebook. Where'd it go? There it is. So I have 5 of these. I have 5 of these to start working on today. So the plan, there it is. There's the plan. So the plan is that this is going to be 25 by 25. I mean, 5 by 5 for a total of 25 20-inch squares. So in the center, this is so tiny, I don't even know if you got, well, I guess you might be able to see it. So the plan is for those 5 panels to go into one corner, one on the interior. So I'm kind of treating the inside and the outside as 2 separate sections. So on the inside here, I'm gonna sew that out into a 20-inch by 20-inch panel. So I'm gonna go panel, black, panel, black, panel, black, panel, black, and then the center is going to be another panel. But I have 5 of these. I have tons of this, but I might not have enough of this to make the panels properly, because I don't have a lot of that fabric. This mushroom fabric is going to be top. Once the inside is done, I've got a piece set aside so I can go top, bottom, side. So then I'm going to go black, the one with the little hidden house. So black house, mushroom, house, black, and then go around the outside. So if I do, I'm positive I have enough for 4. So if I don't have enough for 5, I'm not sure what I'm going to put in the center yet. So the center there, if I can only get 4, we'll reevaluate how we're going to make this center look. Because we might go panel, 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 and then the rest all black. Anyway, so I'm keeping, I'm checkerboarding it. Do I foresee an opportunity for appliques in either of these? Not in these, because these, what I'm working with is what, for the most part, I usually do 10 inch by 10 inch squares when I'm building a quilt. This time I'm doing 20 inch by 20 inch. So it's already, like I said, the sizing and everything is weird. There could be, but I doubt it. I doubt that I'm going to get appliques. So that's what I'm doing. I am keeping it really simple, but this is going to be 100. This is going to be a king size. There's only going to be 25 patches on the whole thing, but it's going to be 100 inches by 100 inches. And that's a king size quilt for Lisa's bed. So that's the plan. So what I'm doing today is I'm trying to avoid, I can waste this stuff all day long if that's what I want to do. This is the part I hate. I got to go across here. I gotta have a straight edge to work with, or I'm not gonna have a good time. Where is my, there's a little one. Okay. Ugh. I don't like cutting fabric with my left hand, but I gotta get that first cut. So I have a straight line to work with. This is why, because I don't practice with my left hand, it's more important to me to be cutting away from me. So anyway, I think I told her she was a spoiled princess this morning. So now I need this to finish at 20 by 20. I only need one of these. I'm going to do the lazy because Lisa, she does not like the purple. There's a purple and then there's a light gray. She doesn't like the purple or the gray. So I'm going to be trying to sew exactly just inside all the way around. And then I'll build it out. Hey, Cece, how you doing? Yeah, she's a spoiled princess. So she's getting a, okay, if I had everything organized, not organized, I'm not 100%. I may not have enough of this to do to go around 5 of these, because this is not, yeah, she doesn't like the purple of the interior gray. And honestly, neither do I. It's not awesome. It does not, when you get the colors up there, it just doesn't seem like the right match. It seems like the light, maybe a wide band of just the light gray, because it's that light gray is probably closer to the blues, to some of the blues that are in here. But no, neither one of us really like it. It's a pretty color, but it doesn't feel like it matches when there's nothing else. This is all purple and blue. Dark purple and blue and black. It just doesn't make sense. Oh, there was new ones released. Yeah, I saw something about that. I haven't taken a close look yet, but yeah. It's interesting. So it's good. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because I tell you right now, it's a soft opening. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna quietly start talking about it so that when we have to formally admit it, nobody's surprised. I want to take a look at some of the stuff. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I haven't even got through the first release. And it's funny because people are still, I get it. Don't like Trump. That's fine. He shouldn't have gotten elected. But then again, the liberals, the Democrats shouldn't be doing some of the shit they're doing either. Like, okay, I'm one of those, government is corrupt and it doesn't matter what side you're on. So, okay, so this is 13. When I go all the way inside here, it's about 13 by, let's get my measurements, by almost 14. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it, I'm not even going to bother. Okay, so here's what's happening. My first row is going to be in the black, right? When I go to the back, because you put the pretty sides together, right? I can see. I don't even have to make a line. I don't have to mark anything. So as long as I put my lines inside here, I'll go around. So I'm probably going to put about, okay, so we're 13 inches on the narrow side. So I need actually a 12 and change. So I need 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I need 7 inches. And I don't know whether I want the black to be a narrow band or a wide band. And I have so much, again, I am just explaining my position from the perspective of somebody who has tons of excess fabric that I can afford to be kind of careless with. If money was an issue, or if I was going out, quilting is an expensive hobby. That's just the end. That's just the thing. Quilting is an expensive hobby. That's the reason why I talk about the money, because for a lot of people who are into quilting, the cost of materials matters a lot. Anyway, so again, normally I would split the difference. So I need 7 inches. I would go 3.5 by 3.5. For a 3.5 inch piece of fabric, you need at least 1/4 of an inch on each side as your seam allowance. That's 4 inches. I am going to do 4 inches for the black. And then I'm going to do black first and then revisit based on what I think I can cut out of that. And I'm probably going to do all 4 of these first, because no, I'm going to do 4 of these first. I'm going to do 4 of these first. And then once I see where I'm at with the amount of mushroom fabric that I have left, I will do the 5th. Actually, no, I'm going to do all 5 of them first. I have a plan, because I'm not sure if I have enough of this. I'm not sure if I have enough of this one, but I do know I have enough of the other one. This is for Lisa. How you doing, Robin? So I need this to be, okay, if I want this to come out at 3.5, I need to go at least 4 inches. And these are, please tell me they're going to be wide enough. 19. So it's the first layer. This should have, that did not cut level. That did not cut even. I'm going to have to flip this over. So again, thank you for listening to the TED Talk about how to plan and not waste fabric and yada, yada, yada. So I want these to be 4 inches. This, I tried to pre-trim it, but I was using my left hand, so it just didn't go. That's okay. That's okay. Like I said, I'm in a very fortunate position. So there's 2. Four. That's enough for the first one. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? That one photo, I saw the one, and it was photos taken on the Apollo missions. Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm going to measure twice, and I'm going to cut twice, because I'm doing it FAFO, right? So I am not 100% sure what I'm going to choose as my final width. 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure what I'm going to choose as my final width on the black before I add the next layer. This is all extra fabric that I can afford to lose. And like I said, if I was sitting from a position of, if price isn't a factor, because this is almost everything that I have here is leftover fabric from shop projects, fabric that's pretty much paid for itself by this point in time after this long. It's almost all this. Even this is from my stash. I bought this fabric and made a bunch of stuff out of it. I made enough stuff out of this to break even before all the tariff stuff started hitting, right? So as much as I'm not profiting here, but it's been paid for. I did go out and buy the black. But I back and line almost everything in black. So what doesn't, it'll get used up. It'll get used up either for this or for something else. I lost count already. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. This is the last one. Okay, so no, 5. So I'm gonna do the black around all 5. And then once I get to the last one, so that's 4. Once I get to the last one, I'll know if I've got enough. U.S. Department of, ooh, is that where it is? Yeah, I saw some photos that apparently came from the Apollo mission, and a copy and of an audio saying, oh, blah blah blah, this is what we're seeing, and it's like, you guys denied this for 50 fucking years. But I'll tell you right now, the funny thing is that even the reputable people, not reputable, but there are a lot of people out there who don't talk about stuff like this on their various programs because they don't want to be seen as fringe, lunatic, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? And they're all talking about it now. Come on, get over there. Did I pinch it funny? No, this is the sad part, because it's just a 17-inch piece left over. I don't have enough to make the 20-inch pieces that I need. I went and bought 2 bolts of this stuff. But like I said, my next project is going to be much smaller. Anything that's left over after finishing Lisa's project, I will be using on mine. Oh, and just an FYI, black fabric, especially when it's brand new and hasn't been washed yet, can do an amazing job of picking up lint and all sorts of stuff. This is clean fabric. I don't pre-wash my fabrics, but when you are working with a solid color, everything wants to stick to it. Yeah, check it out at bedtime so you're too spooked to sleep. That makes it, yeah. No, there's tons of videos and there's tons of files. Just a second, I gotta loop this up and around, or it's gonna. There we go. There's tons of videos and tons of files, and it's pretty fucking. Yeah, I saw a post accusing him of using aliens to distract from the Epstein files. You know what? I've seen both. I have seen people saying that they're using the aliens to distract from the Epstein files, and I've heard them say that they're using aliens using the Epstein files to distract from the aliens. Because and here's the thing. I think that governments in general are corrupt. So it doesn't matter. You know, like, hate Trump all you want, but I think that well, in our country we say liberals, you know, hate Trump all you want, but I think the liberal governments are just as bad. You know, if they're not doing one thing, they're doing another, right? Anyway, but no, I think that either possibility is true, and it could be that both things are being. It's not a coincidence that it's all coming to a head now. It could be that both things are being used as a distraction for something else altogether. I just fuck. This is not going to be enough. That's okay. Wait, if I go that way. No, if I go that way first, I just realized if I go that way first, God, I'm an idiot some days. That way first. Because this piece has to go okay, this piece just barely fits. This piece just fits, because I am going to be trimming it. This piece just fits if I do top and bottom first, because it's wider than it is tall. Are there certain products or fabrics that have to be pre-washed? I don't personally think so, but if I'm working with something that's got a lot of red in it, because red is, for some reason, there's something about red dyes that are just notorious for bleeding all over everything. Okay, so I'm leaving this on because I am the kind, I sew first then trim. So I'm gonna bring this in a little bit. Actually, you know what? I've got to trim first, then sew, because I'm working with this. Okay. There's kind of an upside right and an upside down, but I am taking advantage. I'm taking advantage of this to not have to do a lot. And I just realized I'm not going to be able to see things very well if I have this excess. Just these two sides. I'm still going to come back later and do other stuff. Yeah, well, in this case, it's going to be top, then bottom, then side to side, because these are wider. So if I add 3 inches on each side and then try to add a strip, it just won't fit. Okay, now I've got it where I want it. I'm kind of, like I said, I'm kind of doing this. Okay, generally speaking, you would do this. When you have a wider and a narrower fabric, you're usually going to put the wider piece on the bottom and then the narrow, right? But I need to make sure I'm staying just inside that. I'm making sure that I'm staying just inside of this to maximize what I get to keep without having any of that showing. And in order to do that properly, you really need to do it this way. So I am flipping it over upside down. It's not, you know what I'm also going to do? What I'm also going to do, for anybody who cares, is I'm going to switch over to my walking foot. Once you get the hang of a walking foot, it's a much nicer, more even feed. Anyway, yeah, I am really looking forward to this, because I think that the really interesting thing is that stuff that David Grush was talking about when he was before Congress a year ago now? Oh, Linda's here. Yeah, see, I had the choice of doing dishes or turning on the camera, so I started early. Walking foot can end up being a little fiddly to put on, no big deal. Each one is ever so, there we go. Each one's ever so slightly different. The little arm the little arm for your walking foot has to be above your arm for your needle, and after that it's just jiggle and wiggle until it pops into position. It can seem really fiddly and annoying, and as long as you don't have to, as long as you don't have to use more than the slightest bit of force, you're doing it right. Just try to avoid force. Oh, it's not going. I'll just force it in, because that's when you break. The parts are so tiny, that's when you end up breaking something. Okay. What am I missing? Jenny's trying to get me in trouble. Yeah, see, definitely camera. But yeah. As for the washing, if I've got a lot of reds going into a project, I will quite often wash the red first. But I've gotten so used to not bothering. But you know what I also do for the very first washing, for the very first time I wash a project, because I wash everything before I use it, right? Like I don't want to sleep with brand new fabric that might not be in the best of shape. So what I do is I make sure I wash everything before I use it, and I wash it in cold water with a ton of Oxy to soak up any of the. For some reason, I find Oxy does a really good job of soaking up any discoloration. Man, I haven't even started, and I need my Michael Jackson glove already. No, sewing in UFOs, that's my thing. I like life. But for this, all I'm doing is lining up my foot so that my needle's going to hit just inside that color, because you can see it really easily. You don't even have to try very hard. I can even see that it's 2 colors. If your fabric is put together so that you can see this from the back, you can save a step. You can save some measuring and pinning and stuff like that. And if you don't want those little edges, it's really easy to get them out. Come on, we're gonna go that way. You're shifting on me. Oh no, it didn't shift. That was me. There. I'm not bothering to backstitch, because I'm going to be trimming through all of this anyway. And then I'm not going crazy. I'm not going crazy. There's just there's a big flap sticking to the side. And that's 1, 2, 3. That's a 4x4 piece left over. So I'm saving it. That's fine. Oh, I can go there. Now I'm gonna do the lazy thing. Well, it's not lazy. Ooh, perfect. That's what I was at. That's what I was wondering about. I was wondering how it was going to look when they're together, and you can't really even see there. It's almost a perfect color match. So again, that goes over there. Goes over there. I don't know what. Oh, that was from the outside. Okay. If you kind of sort of line it up on one side, then you've only got to trim one side, but you don't have to line it up perfectly. Don't forget, I already know that I'm going to be sewing all the way down the outside. And I'm a big whiny baby, and I'm a big whiny baby, and I don't want to get the iron out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do them all in this direction. Then I'll iron them. Actually, I don't think I have to iron them. We'll see. We'll see if I have to iron them or not. I backstitched anyway because it's just a habit. Anyway, so how's everybody else doing? What are you guys thinking about all this UFO disclosure stuff? Like, I mean, I've always believed that we're not alone. I think it's arrogant to think that in a universe this big that we could be the only things in it. By the way, this particular fabric because it's a solid, I thought that was from the outside. This particular fabric, because it's a solid black, has no real front or back, so you don't have to care. Some of these types of solid fabrics do have a texture difference front and back, but I'm not seeing it, so I'm not worrying about it. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to do... I get real whiny about finger pressing because it can be hard on my hands. But something that I like to do, to go like that, then just take a ruler and press it down. Especially if I'm... You know what? With this already trimmed off, I don't need to go back and trim my seams if I don't want to, so I'm not going to. So again, just get enough of a finger press that you can get something on here and go like that. Make it seem like your finger was so special. And now I've got... It's probably not... Okay, it's off by about 1/4 of an inch, which I think I can live with. Hey, Moira, how you doing? I'm starting the next project. So this, again, start it that way. Start it upside down. By the way, I want all of my seams. Okay, this is where, let's get back over here. Let's do the instructionals for anybody who gives a shit. Okay, so I want to do it lazy style, right? I do not want to have to do the thing. So I've either got to come back here and eyeball it because I need to sew right there, right? I need to sew right along there, right? There's nothing. I have to either trust myself to eyeball it or I will need to mark it. And I'm gonna mark it because black on black with black thread can be hard to, because this is also going to be completely black. This is going to kill my eyes. So I'm putting a line right where I want it to be. And then I don't have to agonize, and I'm coming down the bottom. It's not, I don't know why this doesn't even need to be there. So I'm just taking this and I'm laying it out against the entire section here. Oh yeah. This is for Lisa. It's going to be a king size quilt when it's done, but I'm only doing 25 patches. Each patch is going to be 20 inches by 20 inches. I'll set that there for now. So I went ahead and marked it. That way I don't have to worry about how I'm going to line this shit up. I'm not. Yeah, there is that over there. Okay. This is not going to quite, I've actually got a minor dilemma, because unless I sew two pieces of this together, it's going to be off by like 1/4 of an inch. And I do not want, okay, I'm trimming this anyway. I already know I'm trimming it. I just haven't pre-decided exactly how wide I want this to be. So I'm going to like I figure I'm probably taking off about 1/4 to 1/2 an inch. This needs to be built up to be a 20-inch by 20-inch piece. Now I'm going to backstitch a little bit because I know I'm trimming it. I know what I'm doing, man. I want all of my seams to point outwards, so I'm just doing that as I go. I'm still going to iron these at some point, but I just haven't got there yet. Yeah, the new project smell. That's exactly it. That is exactly it. Again, I'm taking advantage of all the extra. Oh yeah. This, I've already done a few projects using this, using this material, and it's gorgeous when it flows in there. So one thing I do, since I'm not marking and pinning and doing all the things, what I'll do is I'll kind of spread it out at some point. But if I notice that I can see a little bit of the straight line shining through, then I'll just like fold it back in, flip it over, and just bring it in a touch. Don't be afraid to make adjustments as you go. Don't be afraid to check as you go. Don't be afraid to make adjustments as you go. It's not the end of the world. Okay. And then this is the last one. Again, flip it over, doing it upside down. That's going to go there. Okay. Oops. And mark my fabric. I could have marked both sides. Could have, should have, would have, but it's okay that I didn't, because this is like a basic. It's heavier than normal, but it's a basic type of chalk. So with too much handling, you can rub it off anyway. So I almost always end up coming back to add another little dip of color there. It's also less. I get impatient. And go too fast. So it's less frustrating for me when I'm doing 25 patches versus on a 100-inch by 100-inch quilt. Stereotypically, you would normally expect to be doing about 100 patches. So I can afford to be a little bit more. I can afford to be a little more patient. I know I only have to do bigger versions, but it's less work to do. It's less work when you're doing a simple patch like this, because this is really simple, right? When you're doing a simple patch like this, it's less work to do one giant patch than it is to do 4, 10, 5, however many little patches. So I already know I just went over that one a little bit. Oh, no, I didn't. I thought I did. I thought I hit the white. I thought I hit the white color. Don't forget, this is going to be on an entire king size blanket. Nobody is going to notice if there's a slight, sometimes there's a slight texture difference. If you have to fix something, because you can feel the extra little, okay, if you've got a really sensitive sense of touch, sometimes you can feel the extra little bit of texture of a thicker area of thread, but nobody, even the most sensitive person is not going to notice that on a quilt that's going to be this big. Anyway. No, so what do you guys, I think most of us, I'm making an assumption, but I think once the batting is on and outlining, like, yeah, and outlining around the butterfly. I don't think we're doing that. I might. I'm gonna let Lisa decide. Basically, this is gonna be finished into 25 individual pieces and then finished. Okay. So I kind of should decide now. No, I'm just gonna do them all. I'm gonna do them all in this first. This is gonna have to come down to 1, 2, 3 inches, almost 3 inches anyway. And then once I'm folding them back up. Oh, because I cut this at 4 inches, assuming I was going to bring it back to 3 inches. So I'm good. I got everything that I need the way that I need it. So we're good. I might go around. I might do a thing where I go around like this. Because that would be a really easy, it would be really easy and keep it simple, but I'm going to do it all in one step. Yeah. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. It's easier to do these than the whatever. And then what I'm going to be doing is putting a 25. I haven't got it finished yet, but once it's all done, then there's going to be this is all going to be quilt as you go. The whole thing is going to be quilt as you go. So yeah, I'm not gonna trim it yet. I'm just gonna move on. I'm gonna move on to the next one. I know I've got enough of the mushroom for 4. I've got enough of this 4 because this is then. Okay, here's how this is gonna go. Here's how this is gonna go. This is why this is something I have to be careful of, because this is a one directional fabric. Everything is pointed in the exact same direction, right? So I can't go 1, 2. I have to go 1 this direction. I have to cut across and do 1 in this direction. Then I have to do the same up here, this direction. Then I have to do a long piece to go up each side to keep it all. Yes, this is the glow in the dark mushroom fabric. So because of the way that I have to cut the fabric, I have to be really conscientious of how I do it, how I put it all together. And I've got one piece. Okay. I've got this piece that's long. I got this one that's really long. And I've got this one that's really wide. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go wide. I'm going to use as much of this as I can for the wide parts. Actually, this should be exactly right. So I'm going to use as much as I can of this for the wide parts. It's gorgeous. And it glows in the dark. It's so amazing when it glows in the dark. So I'm going to use this piece because it's already wide for the wide parts. And I'm going to use this piece because it's already long for the long parts. And because from a square footage perspective, I've got more of this. I've got more of this than I do of that. So I'm going to go top, bottom, side again. And then do on my sides. And then whatever's left over, if I have enough left over for 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever I have left over, I can franken piece it together. And as long as I can franken piece together whatever's left over. And if I make that, there's going to sound really, but if I make the franken piece one, the bottom patch, then it's kind of far enough away from the person using it. It'll be far enough away when you're sleeping that you won't even visually, you won't see it. And from a tactile thing, you won't feel it if it's that far down on the pattern. So I should have enough, but until I'm, and I've already got a couple of odds and ends that I can slice up for that. So that's where we're going. Anyway, I'm talking myself through it. But I'm gonna get these ones done first. I'm gonna get the black done first, and then I'm gonna iron it, which I'm not looking forward to. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go blow my nose. I'll be right back. Okay, next one. Two. Nope, I've been blowing my nose because it's that time of year for whatever, but I have not been having problems. It's kind of strange. Oh, hey Patty, how you doing? Come on in, pull up a chair, chillax. I am starting a brand new project in the most F around and find out way possible. I'm starting a brand new project. It's going to be a king size quilt, done quilt as you go style, and every piece that I'm going to be doing 20-inch by 20-inch pieces. So I'm only going to need 25 pieces to do the quilt. That's where I'm at. Oh, lime and sage. Hello, hello. Okay, again, top bot. Because of the way I cut this from scrap. Because of the way I cut this, I'm hoping to top, bottom, side. Nope, I'm going to go all the way to the end because I have a 4 by 4 inch piece left over. Then I'm good. I keep debating on whether to get my Janome back out. It clearly needs to go in for a tune-up, but if I'm only straight stitching. But then again, check myself before I wreck myself. If it needs more than just the basics, which I know it's having trouble with zigzagging, if it needs more than just the basics and I use it for 3 more months, I could end up with a much bigger, I could end up with a repair bill versus a tune-up bill. But I like going fast. Anyway. Yeah, new project day. We were just talking about all the UFO disclosure stuff and what we think of it. I mean, I literally think that by this time next year that they're going to be going, hello, this is Glorp the alien, and we've been talking to these guys for about 30 years. I really do. I think there is a, well, I just don't think it's possible for us to be the only things out there. And I also think that, and let's face it, this has been going on since what? The Project Blue Book and all that stuff started in 1947, I think was the earliest one. And I forget what it was called, which led to this and led to that, and then led to Project Blue Book. So the government has known more about this than the public for a very long time. Through multiple, and you can't just, yep. And you can't just blame one side or the other. This is the thing that I find really weird. I find that part to be really weird. You can't say one side or the other has been sitting on this, because both sides has had more than one turn at being in power. Not hundreds, but it's been going back and forth for such a long time. Gwart. Yeah, it's Gwart. Oh my God, if his name is Gwart, I am starting that cult. I need to start a cult anyway, but if his name is Gwart, then I definitely need to start a cult and see where it's going. I've got 13. There's a lot of bored people in here right now. There's 12 of you. Awesome. Welcome, one and all. But I think we've kind of reached a point where now where it's like, well, wait a second. And you can't even make a religious argument against it. The Gwarts are among us. Exactly. Well, and you know what? You can't if you wanted to make a religious argument about it, then what I would say to anybody that says, well, God created man, and it's like, there's nothing that says God didn't create anybody else. And the Bible itself says, because I know way too much about the Bible, but the Bible itself says, no man may know the mind of God. And it also talks about how there's one passage that says that no man may know, nobody, because it talks about hypocrisy and stuff like that, right? Nobody knows the mind of God, and it's not our place to speak for him or guess or whatever. But there's also other passages in the Bible that talks about how heaven is beyond our understanding. Basically, it's regardless of what your stance is or is not where religion is concerned, religion has already answered the UFO question by simply saying that from a religious perspective, it's not your place. It's not your place to pretend to know what God does or doesn't do or why he does it. So if you're a religious based person who says, well, the Bible doesn't talk about the Bible says God created the earth. And it's like, but the Bible wasn't obligated to say that God created 47 earths or habitable planets or whatever. And we are not. It's none of our fucking business if he did. Yeah, God is also beyond masculine and feminine. But the biggest piece of the Bible that, for me, it's like, okay, God created the earth in 7 days. Sure. But it's also God's judgment to decide how long a day was. And so a day in the mind of God could be a day or a billion years. So the Bible itself, because no man may know the mind of God, that lays the groundwork. That lays the groundwork for a hell of a lot of things, like dinosaurs and aliens, to be real. And in a way that the Bible, basically it's like, don't use the Bible to deny things. Don't use the Bible. Don't pretend to know the mind of God. Don't pretend to know what he did, how he did it, why he did it, or who or where else he may have also done it. But because I don't know how to describe. I'm not religious, not even a little bit. I'm not religious myself, I have a lot of respect for people who are legitimately faithful. I have respect for faith. I don't have respect for hypocrisy. And we've all known people who run off to church every Sunday to feel good about themselves for the shitty things they do all week. But if you legitimately and genuinely believe, then I respect that. I really do. I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to practice it, but I can still respect you for having a legitimate and meaningful faith, right? I have a legitimate and meaningful faith in the things I believe too. So that's fine. I'm okay with that. But I do think, and it's funny, thanks. Yeah. I never grew up being I never grew up like in the church or being religious or anything like that. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to get all of these on because then I can figure out what my lowest common denominator on measuring is and make sure that these are all going to be the same size and centered the same way. At the end of the day, this is still going to be a FAFO project. Lisa knows it. She's on board. It's fine. If I end up, if this turns, I'm actually debating on going black. Then, well, I'll check my, oh, this, I didn't give myself enough space for this one. Okay, here's the real dilemma that I'm going to be dealing with. Haven't dealt with it yet, but it's coming. Black thread, black fabric with black thread is nearly impossible for me to pick out. I just can't see it well enough. And I now have, how big is this one? I mean, it's double. Oh, well, shit, that's still, yeah, 2.5 inches. So I'm going to be doing 2.5 inches all, which still matches the measurements I wanted. I might do, I'm really debating. I might do a narrow band. Black as a relatively narrow band, then a relatively narrow band of mushrooms, then another band of black. I might do that because I think it might pop more. I think it might be a lot nicer in the long run. But I don't, okay. I don't want to guess because this fabric is no longer available. I don't want to guess because the fabric is no longer available, which is, this is going to sound messed up, but this is how my brain works, okay? I don't want to guess because I can't run out and get more of this. Not without, I could probably find it, but it's not going to be cheap. And I've already got more than enough to make the quilt. So I don't want to have to fuck around over being off by a half yard. So that's why I'm going to do the black with leftover fabric that I can afford to waste. Then I'm going to iron it all out. Then we're going to figure out how much of the mushroom fabric I have and ration that out so that I have what I need to make a layer around that. And then depending on where I end up, I'll have to run it by Lisa, but I might just advocate for another layer of black because here's how this is going to look. Come on. Oh, I haven't cut it yet. I still have to come back and cut these. But this is the backing. This is going to be the thing. So it's getting like a black border all the way around. No, top and bottom first because of the width issue. Top and bottom of the current width issue, because if I do, it's a little wider than it is tall. So if I go top and bottom first, I actually can get away with a shorter piece. If I go side to side first, I'll need a longer piece, and this won't be long enough. 2. And yes, I'm doing more talking than sewing because that is how my world works. I'm probably sewing for the rest of the day. Lisa has her game tonight, so I can like do all the fiddly fussy stuff. I don't know why I put that over I should have lined that one up so I didn't have to cut it off. I'm getting a nice little 4x4. Okay. My belief. Okay. Jenny says, whatever it is, I think unconditional love is the current beneath all of it. Who knows? The aliens might teach us all the fun things like telepathy. Oh my God. Could you imagine telepathy? It's like we would just collectively go nuts. We have got so much division and divisiveness right now. Oh, it's crazy. But okay, if you look at every religion in the world, which I used to do that for funsies because I was weird like that. Every single religion in the world is based on 2 core principles: that there is life after death and that one of our duties in life is to treat our fellow man the way we want to be treated. So basically to get along with each other and be decent people. That's it. That is the core belief behind every single religion. And then we fuck it up by writing books about it that skew a certain way. We fuck it up by creating cultures and rituals and thoughts and ideas. And like, and we've all taken a turn doing it. Every single culture has taken a turn being the fucking assholes of the world just for religion. We did it during the Crusades. Islamic extremists, not Islamic people, Islamic extremists are doing it now. Hindus have done it. I think about the only ones that haven't are Buddhists, and even though they are credited for being one of the most peaceful religions on earth, they've still, in various points in their history, been involved or semi-involved in some pretty fucked up behavior. Because we all have, because we're fucking humans. Is Canada pretty but when it comes to faith? Canada is. We're really tolerant. We have a lot of tolerance for all faiths. So, and we've pretty much always been that way. We have some of our arguments, but they're more of a social thing. But no, we have always been very tolerant. Like I don't know. Okay. I don't know how to describe it. We've always been very tolerant, but we've also gone through our phases where you can't immigrate to the country unless you're a Christian and stuff like that, because that's just how the world works sometimes. But no, we've got a pretty strong history of tolerance. So we've been pretty lucky that way. And I think most of our bullshit phase, thankfully, didn't really include violence. So we've been lucky that way too. Now we've had some extremist violence happening here in the last few years, but it's got nothing to do with Canada as a country. Oops, I gotta put those marks down, or I'm gonna have regrets. We've had some synagogue attacks, anti-Israeli stuff, firebombing synagogues and stuff like that. And the unfortunate part, I don't know if you want to call it fortunate or unfortunate. We've had some issues, and we have had some religious-based violence, and for the most part, it's been extremists slipping into the country. So most of any intolerance that we do tend to have, for the most part, is like verbal. It's like, well, I don't like that guy because it's like, yeah, whatever. I don't, you don't have to like him, just don't bother him. Okay. We're pretty non-violent, so we've been very lucky where that's concerned. But then again, up here though, like, I mean, I came out of the closet before gay marriage was legal, and nobody gave my family, because they're a bunch of fuckwits. But like, I'd say, "Oh yeah, I'm gay," and they go like, "Duh," and then the conversation was over. Like nobody gave enough of a shit to be bothered by it. Yeah, if you want to learn about different faiths, the diverse presence makes it easier. Absolutely. I've been in some really interesting conversations with some really interesting people, and like I've never had to like Lisa's coworker was was an Indian his background Indian Muslim who so born in India, but family then moved to Africa. I forget what country. So, you know, hearing his stories about living as a Muslim guy from India in an African country, and just really like, I gotta do that, Mark. Yeah, no, okay. The funny thing is that teenage me grew up in a very white town, 98% white. Everybody's a Christian, but it's kind of weird because we had no diversity in my town. We were super. It was not considered strange to be super curious about other faiths and other cultures. So I grew up like we had 15 different flavors of of Christianity in our town, but nothing else. They might have more diversity of that now, but we had a strong. And like I said, you wouldn't expect it for such a very white town in a relatively not super conservative, but relatively conservative area. But being super curious was very normal where I came from. So that made it easy. And then coming out here and actually getting to meet people from different faiths who are very comfortable talking about their faith, their culture, their whatever, just because to them, to me, my culture, my background, my whatever is just, oh, that's where I come from, whatever. And that's the same to them. And nobody ever made it feel weird. It's kind of interesting, the things that you learn. But yeah, I will go down to the library. I go down to the library and take out like the school library and read anything they had about different faiths and stuff like that. I've just been fascinated by it all. But I think the most fascinating part of it all is if you take your particular upbringing, culture, surroundings, and bias out of the picture, every single religion has the exact same. My belief, and you will never change my mind. My belief is that we all started like, Tower of Babel type shit, right? Wherever or however our modern civilization began, or our modern march towards civilization began, I believe that I believe that we all came from the same root and then moved on into all the various branches and all the various things and all the various beliefs, because I think it's impossible for us to have done otherwise, because when you look at the base philosophies behind every religion, it's all the fucking same. All the same. What you doing? Oh, you are yelling at me. I had to stop I'm gonna be right back. I had to stop feeding the crows for a while because we had flocking itinerant crows in the area and they were causing problems just by being super noisy. But now I've got one yelling at me, and so I don't think the flocking crows are around. So I'm gonna go feed him. I'll be right back. There we go. A good deed for the month. My good deed for the month has been accomplished. I heard about some attacks on Catholic churches in recent years, but I had no idea. Yeah, you know who was doing that though is that was, well, go get it. That was being done in protest. That was being done as part of Okay, the United States had residential schools, and so did Canada, and that's where Native youth were removed from their homes, taken to English-speaking schools, and there were fucking problems. I'm not going to pretend that there weren't. And apparently, the last of the schools didn't close until like the 50s. Anyway, so a lot of the, and I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but a lot of the more, every community has its extremists, even Native communities. But yeah, we've had like dozens. I don't know about the rest of Canada, but out here in the western half of the country, we have had dozens upon dozens of churches burned down as a form of protest against residential schools. Out of protest against what residential schools did back in the 50s. So I don't know if that accounts for all of them, but we have had a lot of schools being burned. I mean, a lot of churches burned down. Yeah, it's not fun. Yeah, vandalized, set on fire, had everything, had everything stolen. But it's been crazy. And like I said, I'm not gonna speak for the entirety of the country, but out in the west, out in the west end of the country is being blamed on and some native groups are taking credit for having done it. So it's not. Some of them are just happening and nobody's saying a word, and some of them native groups are saying we are protesting what was done to what was done to children during the residential school era. So I don't blame them for being angry, but I think going after a church, because the residential school issue in Canada was mostly related to just one or two branches of the church. I don't think it was I don't think every church was involved in it, but there's also been some related to the abuse of children in the Catholic school. I don't know. People are way too quick to speak with violence rather than just speaking, because I don't know, because of all the becauses, I guess. I don't think it's okay to just sit back and take it, but I think I don't think we do enough job. I don't think we do enough. I don't think we do enough due diligence in making sure the person, place, or organization we're unhappy with is actually even an advocate or involved in what happened. We really are throwing away the baby with the bathwater. Is that the thing? Did the crows bring you a thank you gift? They never bring me a thank you gift. They're little fucking ingrates. They are. They dropped a branch up on the balcony the one day, but I'm not sure if it was them or the squirrels. Oh yeah, and that's my other problem. Basically, squirrels don't eat dog food, which is why I started. Which is one of the reasons why I chose dog food for the crows. But all the racket from the itinerant crows. There's four different types of crow population. There are crows who just kind of stay in their own little group of 2 or 3 or 4. They just kind of hang out by themselves. And there's the ones that stay all year long and the ones that migrate. So that's 2 groups of small groups, right? And then there's flocking crows. And there's nothing particularly different about them. It's kind of like saying different types of pods of killer whales, or basically whatever, right? So then there's the flocking crows, where instead of staying in smaller family groups, they gather in larger flocks, and they can either be migratory or be resident. And so we have all 4. This is a nice area. We have all 4 types of groups that come here. But the problem is that when the flocking crows find a stable food source, they tend to hang around. But flocking crows are incredibly fucking noisy. They're very loud. They're very noisy. And I can't tell the difference between one crow to another because they all look so similar, but flocking crows will drive away competing groups of crows. They'll fight. They fight over food. It's just what they do, right? And because flocking crows make so much noise, they start attracting in other types of critters that want to feed on it. So we've had even though the squirrels don't eat even though they're not interested in the food that I put out, they've been hanging out. They've started coming up onto the porch, looking for food, drinking the water, whatever. But squirrels like to build nests, and if they can conveniently get to your attic, they will build a nest there. And we've had in this building, they have had to more than once call out people to get the crows out of the roofs and attics. So it's like, can't have the crows can't have the squirrels showing up, and the squirrels will almost always show up if they hear the crows making a racket. So I had to stop feeding them. And there's also it's against the strata rules to be feeding birds because they attract squirrels, which then nest in the rafters, right? So I don't want to get in trouble. Not that I care that much, but I'd rather avoid it if I don't have a reason for it. But yeah, so we stopped feeding them for a while because the crows, the quiet little neighborhood crows that I've been feeding, they weren't coming by anymore because the flock, the larger gang of crows in the flock were driving them away. So I was like, okay, I gotta stop feeding everybody because I can't be feeding the noisy, disruptive crows, and I definitely can't be doing anything that's going to attract. Because if we end up with squirrels up in our crawl space, that's going to be a huge fucking problem. So yeah, I took a break from feeding them, but that was just a single crow. That was just a single crow, so hopefully I can feed him today. But I'm going to have to go on to a schedule where I'm not feeding them every single day. I can't go back to being a reliable food source now that the other groups of critters have found out that it's a food source. So there's that. Okay, so that one's done. I have to, you guys realize once I get this last one done, I have to get up and fucking iron. Don't want to iron nothing. Irons are hot and disgusting and sweaty. Anyway, so but the crows do seem to be doing fun. Hey, Stardust, how you doing? Yeah, the mushroom is for Lisa, and but this is from the exact same collection. Only this is hers are going to be just mushrooms, and mine are going to be moons of different sizes and flavors and configurations, and then it's also going to be a quilt. It's also not going to be as large. That's also good. It's not going to be as big. It's the pieces aren't, but the quilt isn't going to be as big, but the squares aren't going to be as big either. So it's probably going to take longer to do the smaller quilt than it is this one. Blonde squirrels, interesting. Yeah. The moons is going to be a lot of fun. That's why I got all the extra. I got a bunch of solid black, and that was one of the reasons why I got the solid black. I got so much of it. Okay, I got it for 2 reasons. I got it for 3 reasons. This quilt is reason 1. My quilt is reason 2, and I use black in almost everything. As either a backing or an accent or whatever. Like a lot of people use white for their accents and their backings, and I tend to use black. So I have a dog, and it's less. It doesn't show show stains or whatever as much. So I got 2 bolts of it, which I can then use to my. Oh, I miss my bags too. I miss my bags too. I miss them, but I don't miss them. I don't know how to describe it, but it's kind of, I miss the routine of always having something that needs, when you always have something that needs to be done, then you do a much better job of sticking to routines and stuff. And since I don't have that anymore, it's like I miss having a reason to stick to a routine. But it's been a nice break, and I don't think I'm going to miss it in the long run. I really don't. Not I mean, Lisa was already bugging me that it was time to retire and stop worrying about it. So, but this has also been nice that I can get neck deep in a quilt and I don't have to put anything away. One of the reasons why it would take me so long to get a quilt done was because I get everything out, get everything started. It's like, let's just look at the table behind me, right? That's where I have to cut all my fabric and sort everything out to make a bag. So now it just stays out. I don't have to put it away. It's like put everything away, then put everything away, get all the bag making stuff out, make a bunch of bags, then put all that away, then get this back out. And eventually you get kind of lazy about one or the other. And of course I was always getting lazy about the quilting so that I could get the bags out. So that's been a nice shift. Like I got this out like Friday, and I didn't have to worry about it. I didn't have to stop and do something else or did I get this one done first? So that part's fine. And we were just talking about religion, UFOs. What else? Religion and UFOs. Don't let them put me out to pasture. Yeah, I've had time to make stuff that I probably wouldn't have been an amazing. Yeah, my old house in Michigan, I had an amazing custom craft room because the woman before me was bridal seamstress. I had giant work surfaces because of her. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I've got this people use this size table for a dining room table. People use that for a dining room table. So I've got 2 dining room tables. This is essentially a narrow desk, and I've got a second one right there as a second one. So I've got and these move around. Yeah, I've got a great system set up. Mine of course isn't nothing's permanently installed here, of course, because we rent. But yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice that I walked away with all of the things I need to still be able to sew to my little heart's content and not worry about life. And yeah, it was divine timing. Black is back. Oh, it never left. Yep, that's about right. No, like I said, we had to take I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to go back to feeding them at all because we just can't do squirrels. The squirrels showing up is apparently like I said, we just rent, so it's not our problem, but apparently they have in this building caused some pretty significant damage in the past because the crawl space, it's the crawl space for an entire condo. So once they get into the crawl space and start chewing through shit, they can really access a whole bunch of space. Okay. Ooh. Oh, I fucked that one up. That's okay. 2 inches. I'm still at about 2 inches. I could take it off if I wanted to. I didn't realize I was over the end here. I should have been level. And I just figured it out. You know what? I'll sew in a tiny piece to the corner if I have to. It's okay. It's okay. And is this not? Is this the fifth one? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm still really, really thinking that I'm going to end up making this like maybe 1.5 inches even. I think it's too wide. I think it's going to be too wide to do a super wide piece. Oh, that makes it even better. Get that to there. Get that to there. I can sew in the smaller piece. I get to remind myself of that over and over and over again. You know what I think I'm going to do? Once I get these 4 done, I love squirrels, but feeding them regularly is a responsibility. Fed regularly, they reproduce beyond supportable rates. Yes. Well, they reproduce beyond supportable rates, and unfortunately, the attic of a human dwelling is a nearly perfect environment for them to build nests. So, and even if you're the type, I would be the type to go, well, that's okay. I don't mind. I don't care. I'll share my home. It's not a guarantee that it's your home they're going to build it. Okay. I have to get out the iron. I have to get out the iron and give this a quick little zap. I don't need this to be perfect because it's going to be getting quilted and it's not going to matter, but I got to give it a quick little zap and get these seams nice and flat before I start doing the thing. I will be hanging around just over there. I'm going to get the little iron out. I'm just going to be hovering over here, trying not to sweat to death, guys. There we are. This won't actually take long, but it's got to be done. Feel free to chatter amongst yourselves. I'll catch up. Oh. Unless I decide to trip myself on that. I don't need it to be perfect. I just need it to be good enough that I don't sew in massive creases. It just needs to be good enough so I don't sew in massive creases because of it not being flat enough. But it doesn't have to be perfect. There, that's it. La la la. See, this is where I wish I had massive monitors everywhere so I could read the comments while I'm doing the really boring stuff. There we go. Where are you, Bruno? Let me go check on my dog. Look at us. There you are. There we go. And I'm back. Now, these I just kind of flopped and didn't okay, that is the one I screwed up, which means, okay, this is the one I screwed up, which means it's got the narrowest thing here. Do I look better in black or red? Well, I'm wearing both. I'm wearing both. Okay, so this is the one I screwed up because I went too far here. So this is going to have 1 3/4. If I go 1 3/4 inch all the way around, it's going to be relatively narrow, but then it's an argument for, if I go 1 3/4 inch all the way around, then it becomes an argument for doing these narrower. Let me see if I have a smaller piece. I know I have a smaller piece. Where did I put it? I have one large piece, but that's being reserved for the outside. Yeah, here. Okay. This is what I tend to do. So I'm just going to take that and that. So if I do that, as a matter of fact, having the camera makes it. If I have that and that, then it's going to have a 1 3/4. Let's do 1 3/4. Yeah, it'll start about here, right? So it'll start about there. It'll be a relatively, it'll be a, I don't know if I can get up and over better. There we go. So it'll be relatively narrow. It'll be a relatively narrow strip. And then I can go around one more time with black to get it the rest of the way out to the 20. I've got tons of black. Are all patches a different scene? No, they're all identical. They're all identical. So now this is the stage at which I have to decide, okay, they're all going to be this, then the black, then the then the mushroom, right? So I have to decide, do I want a, okay, this was, how much is this finished? This finished at 12.5. So this would finish at 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I can finish it with just this. I can finish it with just this. I don't, if I decide that I want to do another row, and it's going to get another row of black. It's going to get another row of black because the backing, it's self-binding. So the backing is going to be coming around. I'll show you with this in red so you'll see what I mean, but it's going to be this exact same black. So it's going to be black, right? Oops, let's flip it around and say, oh, there's salvage at both ends. It's going to be black, okay? Then a 25, it's going to be a big piece of black. Use your imagination. It's going to be a big piece of black. This is going to be trimmed to be, this is going to be trimmed with a almost 2 inches all the way around. I'm just going to bring that to 14, 15, 16, 17. So another 1.5 inches of this all the way around, right? And then this is going to be in black folding up to here. So it's going to go pattern black, pattern black. And I just did the math. 2 inches is fine. A 2 inch, it's going to be 2 inches on the sides and then probably 1 inch, 2 inches top and bottom, and then 1.5 on the sides because it's wider than it is long. When quilting, how much, it depends on what you're making. Hey, Margaret, when you're quilting, it depends on what you're making. Like for me to do okay, this is going to be 100 by 100 inch quilt, but each piece is going to be 20 by 20. So the math is really easy. 20 divided by 100 is 5. So I need 5 by 5, 20 inch pieces. So if you are just working with squares, and simple things, then there's not a lot of math. It's when you start getting into all the designs and stuff. Yeah, and like I said, this is actually going to be the same black, but this is all going to be done in self binding. So that's going to be the binding. That's going around in a row. That's going to go around one row, and then that is going to be solid black as a border. Each one is going to have a black border. So yeah, the amount of math really depends on the pattern that you pick. The first quilt I made for Lisa took some math, but again, it was all square and rectangle pieces. But yeah, I self-bind everything, so I only have to do as much math as each individual segment requires. Then I'm good to go. So I think I'm going to go 2 inches all the way around. Let me just measure my length. Okay. I'm eyeballing it. I'm eyeballing it along this seam for 2 inches. Because if I go from the seam to the 2 inch line, then I go from there out 2 inches. It's going to be 18 wide. I will say having a big ruler really helps with the math. It really does. And that's going to be 2 inches. Yeah, that's 2 inches. And there's 18 by 16.5. So if I go 2 inches all the way around, okay, I can go 2 inches all the way around and then square it up, or I can square it up now. I should probably bring this to a square now, which means that I'm going to go 2 inches this way, and I'm probably only going to go 1.5 inches that way. But however many shortcuts you have available really makes a difference, because where'd it go? There it goes. I've got this guy. I cannot use this guy. Shit, I can't use it. Okay, I can use this ruler. This ruler is amazing. This is my perfect, absolutely amazing ruler, but I have to be able to see the black on black seams through the ruler. I can't see them. I have to be able to see the black on black seams through the ruler to make sure I'm getting everything nice and leveled and blah, 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 except for I cannot see the black on black on black. Because don't forget, this is all black. This is black. This is one piece of fabric. This is another piece of fabric, and that's a third piece of fabric. I have to be able to see that intersection. And because of the little bit of shiny that happens on these rulers, which is perfectly normal, I can't see through it. And could, let's see. Let me see. Let's get in there. I don't know if I want to work this hard when I can just measure it in other ways. I can barely see it on this ruler, but if I can't see it on this ruler, well, I can see it. I can see the intersection. And I only really need it on, no, I can't see it I can't see it. Okay, I cannot see it well enough to have any confidence. So I cannot use this giant ruler. So I get to do it a different way. Yay! So this is easy enough. This will be easy. I just had one made for my girlfriend. Mom made it. Yeah. I am going to figure out a different way to do it. Now I can't. Okay. I've also got. I'll show you guys another toy I've got. This is a chalk roller. I could flip it over. This is a chalk roller and it's super bright. So I could do that, but I don't want chalk. And don't forget, I wash everything before I use it. So that works. I can flip it over. I'm just not sure if I'll be able to see it much differently. Let's see. Smart. Good thing somebody's smarter than me, though. Thank you, Jenny. Well, okay, there's the line. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm only watching the inside of this, okay? Yeah, it's much brighter back here. I'll measure from the back and see if I can make it work. Now, basically what's going to happen is I need to figure out, okay, if I do it this way, 1 inch, my center is now over here. I'm going to fuck it up, right? Yeah, don't thank me yet. So basically what you do, and this is pretty simple. You figure out, okay, you guys can't really see what I'm doing, but basically I can see the stitch lines now because I have to center this, okay? Because this is wider than it is tall. So for me to make this into a square, for me to square this up, I want to make this a square and then add this because again, I don't know for sure if I have enough to do all 5. So I can see my stitch lines along the back, or if I get really desperate, I can use the really bright chalk. Yeah, don't fuck it up. Thanks, Moira. So anyway, I'm ignoring all the black. I'm looking only at the panel because this is exactly the center of the ruler. That is, so if I want something to be 9, if I want something to be 18 by 18, then the 9 is the center, the 8 is the center, the 7 is the center. I do not know how to describe this. I'm finding the center of the fabric. Find the center of the fabric. I do that. I have my own particular way of doing this. So as long as your way works, you're doing it right. So I figure out approximately where the center is, right? And I'm using all the measurements. This ruler has a crisscross in it. So I'm using that. I'm getting, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It does not have to be absolutely, lesson learned, have lots of fabric. You don't have to worry about it. Honestly, that's where I'm very fortunate. I'm very fortunate to have fabric I don't have to worry about. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I should have been using that one for this. Okay, either way, I was going to be doing this sooner or later. I was just really hoping, this is a 20.5-inch ruler. I was hoping to just go, okay, there's my edge, whoop, whoop. And now I'm doing it to a smaller dimension. Actually, what's the dimension going to be? That's 1. No, I can't do that either. Fuck. I have a 15 by 15 inch ruler, but it won't be big enough for this. Okay. I usually manage to fuck this up in some special way or another anyway, so I'm trying to figure out, okay, if I can figure out where the center, okay, this is all fucked up, okay, because first I need to find the center, and then I can do my measuring. What did Linda say? Fold it in half, then, oh my fucking God, Linda, where did my brain go? I used to know to do that. I used to be smart enough to do that. Okay. Fold it in half, okay. So you want to figure out where your corner, you want to figure out where your corners are, because I want it to be folded in, I want it to be folded half and half, lining up. I want this to be folded half and half. I don't care about any of this yet. So you want to make sure that you're careful how you're folding it. I swear to God, Linda, I need you to come over and like tutor me on the really obvious shit that I keep forgetting. Okay. You know what you can also do? Okay. There we go. Fuck a doodle. God, I'm dumb some days. Yeah, absolutely. You guys, you know what? I don't mind. I'm completely self-taught. And the fact that I'm completely self-taught, and the fact that I'm going to miss something obvious once in a while is not even remotely a surprise. I am just really hoping to square this up. Okay, and that, why did that not, yeah, and that is my center right there. I'm going to go on the back. That is my center right there. I'm going to, oh, of course, now it's not going to, okay, that didn't work. So don't worry. This I know how to do. This I know how to do. I get my friction pen out. Now that I've got my half and half, because there's a crease right there, I go like that. I go like that. Okay. Then I get my schmancy ass ruler out, and I want everything to be squared. Oh, come on. Why are you not bright? Then I figure out, okay, so if I go 9 by 9, put that there, put that there, that's there, that's there. And if I fuck it up, it's Linda's fault. If I fuck it up, I can still fix it, so I don't really care. I might want this a little narrower, but I can fix that after. I'll decide in a minute, because I still have this one here. Yeah, that one might not be big enough. So I might have to go like to 16 by 16. And then once you get the one side done, the other side is just as easy as flopping this shit down. Make sure your lines are marked. Make sure everything's lined up to what you just did. Oh, it fits exactly. I feel like it's tiny. 1, 2, 1, 2. That's right. No, wait, 1, 2.5. 1, 2. That's gonna go that way a little bit. It doesn't matter. It's gonna go that way. That's saying it's only 17 though. Aha. That's why 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Always double check, triple check. Don't be afraid to check as many times as you need to check. This is off by almost a whole inch. I am doing it the long way around because I came so close to screwing it up already. So I'm going to do it the long way around, but I need to get an extra ½ inch off. Or I need to either take off an extra ½ inch, or I need to cut a piece to fill in this corner because it's not going to match. And I think, and then I just go, and for the rest of them, I can just go, okay, so I take off a ½ inch. That's still going to be nice. Yeah, I think I am not Yeah, Linda. Wait. Oh, you're hiding. Okay. Yeah, so this is perfectly fine. I am going to go, I'm okay, like I said, I can fill that in and I know how, and it's not hard to do, but I don't think I want to mess with that. I think I'm just going to, but if I go smaller, then everything has to go smaller. There we go, we'll take that. And again, I don't mind a FAFO project because I don't care. Okay, so the center is, easy for me to fuck up beyond all recognition. And here's the thing though, is that bringing this down and then bringing this in, it's just different. Okay. Where's my mark? There it is. It's going to be 17 by 17 and a half. No, that's wrong. No, that's going to go to there. Oh, sometimes these things annoy me so much. Okay, so that's 2 inches. That's going to be, yeah, it's going to be, I'm taking off. Oh, that's my problem, is I'm taking it off all on one side. So I've got to take off an equivalent amount all the way around. I can also take the whole fucking thing off and start over because nobody will care. It will protect you. What if I go 8 by, what if I go 8 in, what if I go, it's 16, what if I go 16 by 16? I need 2 inches, I'll need 2 inches all the way around. It's a more equal, it's a better measurement to be fucking around with. This is where I like agonize. It's like, oh my God. Oh, okay, let's see what I got here. That's not going to be that bad. Okay. I honestly don't care if I end up only having an inch. So I'm good. I actually warned Lisa that it might end up looking best if it's really narrow. So we are going 17. No, we're not going 17 by 17. We are going 16. We're going 16, but we're going approximately 16 by 16. And we'll just line all this shit up. I knew this was a very real possibility. Nothing's happening that I'm surprised by. Now, why is that so much wider than that? That's not right. Where's my mark? Where's my mark? I swear to God, I managed to fuck this up every time. There's 16 and a half. That's why. Fuck it. I'm going 16 by 16. 8 in the middle. That is in the middle though, so I don't know why that's not. Look, that doesn't look like it's lining up, and I don't. Oh, I know why it looks. That's wider. Okay. If it's not 100% perfect, I will just fix it again from the front, redo it, because I can definitely get a 20 by 20. But if I'm having a bad, this is my problem. One too many FAFO products. There we go. That is a square. That is a square. That is just chalk, by the way it comes off. Oh my God. Okay. So we are 16 and a quarter by 16 and a quarter. So we're good. So every one of these has to be trimmed to 16 and a quarter. One. You can always tell. Yay! You can always tell when I haven't done something for a while because I literally forget the most basic ways of doing it. But here's where I get to now actually get some shit done. Because now I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to double check against my two measurements, and I'm going to go, wait a second. This from the front, which I can see through on my little ruler. I don't know why, but I can see. Oh, that's why. I can see it from here on my little ruler. So now I just have to measure how much did I cut? Because these are all the same size. And I cut off 1 1/4 inches. So now I just have to go 1. There it is. 1 1/4 inches. This is what happens when you faffle and play within a net. Because I just like to live without a tightrope. It's fine. Again, I mean, I repeat, I think I say this 6 times a live stream though, is it like I have the luxury of 99% of my fabric comes from a stash that's already been paid for. And a lot of people, and I'm not faulting anybody for it. I'm just pointing it out, right? But a lot of people will find a really cool fabric, buy it, come home, and then think of a project for it. I do tarot stuff, save what's left, and then think of a project for that. It's a completely different allocation of resources. And get that off the black. This is 1 1/2 inches. Well, wait. It's kind of almost exactly the difference between 1 1/2 and 1 3/4. And don't forget, this is a 20 by 20 inch block. So it's about halfway between 1 1/2 and 1 3/4, which is fine. So let me do it. So about 1 7/8, and you just make sure that you're up. Man. Well, that's my stitch line right there. I prefer to cut them from the front because I feel like I get a much more, I don't know what I feel like I'm getting, but I got to do this from the back because I can't see the black on black because of the angle of where that one was. I have the luxury of not having to accommodate for the expense. I would have a ball of garbage. Yeah, I'm talking and cutting because, but no, I have the advantage. Lisa and I already discussed if these didn't work, what we were going to do as something else anyway. But no, I have the advantage of fabric that's already been paid for. So it's a whole lot less fucking, and it's not just fabric that I went and bought and then I have to find a project for it, which is how, if you are, and I don't want to say just if you are just quilting and not doing anything else to generate extra fabric, then how you use that fabric is a much more stressful thing. Hey, it would have been smart if I jotted that down. What did I say the measurements were? You know what else you can do if you're really fucking brave? You just take the first one, overlay it on the second one, match your fabrics, then cut. It's quicker, but you do run the risk of slicing into fabric, and you should pin. This is something I've done when I'm doing, this is something I've done for the tarot mats. You just line up wherever the interior one is, and then just go. You got to be insane. You got to be very careful or very confident or very stupid or a combination of the three, though, because if something shifts, you could end up cutting your original template. I've done this as a technique when I'm cutting stuff for the when I'm doing reading cloths and stuff. If I'm doing, especially the tarot mats, that's why I quite often did 2 or 3 tarot mats together at the same time, because I could take advantage of certain shortcuts to make my life a little easier. But you also have to really rely on a good sense of touch, because I can feel where all those layers of fabric are meeting up. So you perfect the first one, but this really isn't the smartest thing I'm doing today, because well, that's a big enough piece. I should save it. It's not the smartest thing I'm doing today because it's black on black on black on black. So it's like, if I fuck up even a little bit of this, I'm probably not going to be very happy here. Hi, Bruno. No, you already had your stuff. I'm gonna have to cater to my dog, who now. Oh, that's why my. No, baby, you have to wait. I'm working. Hi, Bubby. Don't let this little monster fool you. He has already had a nice long WALK this morning, but he thinks he can bully me. He's probably right. There. So these are now the same. But I will say that this trick, everything is, what the bigger something is, the more forgiving it is when you do tricks like this. So keep that in mind. Okay, put those there. Because if you're off by a 1/4 inch on a piece that's this big, it's way more visible than being off a 1/4 inch on something that's being measured in like tens of inches. Hi, monster. You want a treat? Yeah? You want a treat? Are you sure? Are you a good boy? Okay, let's go get you a treat. I know you're a big bum. Come on. Yeah, we're going to go this way. Just wait. I need you to be a bit. I'm going to put a bunch in. I know. Let's go show the internet how fucking spoiled you are. So basically, my dog's not spoiled. You put his treats in the end and then give it to him, and it keeps him busy for a while. What's that? Yeah, there you go. Well, monster. Just saying. Okay. Anyway, he's a big baby. He thinks he's a princess. We're afraid to tell him differently. There we go. Yeah, this is a great trick for larger pieces. I would not do this for something smaller. Like I said, if you're measuring it in a 1/4 inch, when you're only measuring 2 inches, is, well, 2 inches is 8/4 inch. That's a pretty decent amount. But a 1/4 inch on 20 inches is a very different percentage. Yeah, his treat pacifier. That's what he gets at nighttime, but he likes it. He throws it around for a while and it keeps him busy. So yeah, so if these are off by a 1/4 inch, it's not going to hurt anything. Whereas if it's, what the heck happened there? Oh, my ruler shifted. Okay. Oh no, that shifted. Every now and again, in spite of your best effort, especially if the fabrics are very close in color, the ruler can shift, so don't be afraid to fix it. Wasn't a lot, but it's worth taking off. Anyway. Yeah, this is quicker for me than going back and remeasuring over and over and over again. And have I repeated it enough times yet that it's okay? It's okay if it's off by the tiniest bit, because when it's this big, a quarter of an inch is nothing. It's when you're. Now, I would never do this if I was working with a smaller piece. I would actually get the actual numbers and look it all up, and I would do it properly. I would do it properly by whatever standard properly is, and not fuck around for something smaller. But this is big enough that it's not going to matter. Okay. One more to go. Do. Okay, so the next step is going to be to get that mushroom fabric on there. And I have to do some math first, because I can't FAFO that part. I might be able to get away with some FAFO, but I don't know. Again, I'm lining up these corners with those corners, with the corners in here as well. And and since I can feel it, I'm very confident. Line up all four corners and trim. As long as you're confident that the first one has been there was no actual the piece of fabric that I did was the top piece. I accidentally went like that a little bit with the rotary cutter. I never cut into the actual properly measured piece. I felt it shift, so I knew that was going to happen. I never had a problem with the actual other piece, so that was not a big deal. I'm going to just feel them out, do whatever makes sense to you. I have a feeling I'm overdue for changing a rotary blade. Yeah, I realized that it's like, I'm just like minding my business, and I was like, oh wait, she thought. Yeah, no, it was basically I'm cutting away properly here, but then it's the bottom piece I'm trying to cut, and I accidentally went off to the side a little bit as I got to the top, which happens. It happens, it's normal. You really have to be okay with things being off by a bit. And it's, that one's, I was going to say that one doesn't meet either, and it does. It's only like a quarter of an inch here that's coming off. Let's just double check. Hope that comes up the tiniest bit. Come on, up you get. There we go. The trick on this is to make sure you're not stretching everything as you go. If you have to be able to like floof the fabric into place instead of like yanking, and you got to have a really soft touch with your fabric to get away with this. Because if you end up, now that I'm all done, but you can end up stretching it, and it doesn't have to be a lot. You could end up stretching it, and that can be a thing. You could also end up pulling it this way, and it can really stretch, or just go completely not square anymore. So just remember to move your fabrics around lightly, light pressure. Try not to pull. You can move them around all sorts of ways. Just remember that you are not putting even a thimbleful of strength into. You are smoothing it into place. You're not like stretching it to make it work. Are there going to be full blocks of the mushroom print, or will it just be a border? There will be full blocks of the mushroom print. Now these are, okay, so these are going to be these are going into the center, and I've got this one here. The unfortunate problem is that I don't have a lot of this, but this is an exactly 40-inch piece. which means that okay, I'm going to cut this carefully, but when I get to this piece, I can get 4 20 by 20 inch blocks out of it. So there will be 4 blocks going into it that look just like this. So they are going to be like a Technicolor night. Well, not, they're going to be a single color nightmare because these are these little ones are really glowy. So my smaller pieces, these pieces are getting chopped up in the next couple of minutes to go all the way around as borders here. And then that's going to go there. Yeah, this is a really nice fabric. So this is the mushrooms, right? And then the other one is same mushrooms, but they're larger. And if you look into the negative space, if you look into the negative space, you can see little houses. There's little houses in the negative space. So they are bigger and have negative space, but there's not, in a contrast perspective, it might look more, there's probably going to be a much better contrast at night, like when the fabric is glowing in the dark. But there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's going to be 8. So there's going to be 4 of these as big blocks, and then 8 of these as big blocks. There's going to be 8 of these and 4 of these in the outer circle with solid black in the 4 corners, because you're not usually going to see much of the corners anyway. Oh, hello. Wow, my timing blows monkey chunks.
Why does your timing blow?
Actually, no, I guess my timing's pretty good. Here I am thinking I'm just trucking along getting shit done.
You are.
Okay, so if I really have to, I can take this piece and this piece. This is important. This is important information for planning purposes. So if I really have to, I can take this piece and this piece, chop them up and sew them back together so that I can get, because everything has to stay upright. Everything has to stay this direction. So it's all upright to that. So if I have to, I can chop these 2 up with whatever's left over to do the 5th one. Hi.
Hi. I messed up and forgot to get you protein though, so you've got fries.
It's okay. I'm going to talk for longer than I need to. I'm going to talk for longer than I need to as I say my goodbyes. Lisa has her game tonight, so I've only got a couple of minutes left because she's already brought me my din so I can eat and get the hell out of her face. Okay. So the next step, I'll tell you the next step because it's going to be boring to watch anyway, but this is wide. This is wide. So that's going to be my top and bottom. And obviously I'm going to cut them like this. And then these are narrow. These are going to be side to side. And I'm going to measure things a little bit more properly. So that I can't afford to waste this. So this kind of mattered in a weird way. This kind of mattered so that I knew exactly what I needed for the next one. So this is 17, 2, 4. Okay. Every single piece of, all I have to do now is get this out to 20 inches. I got to get that to 20 inches and it's done. So I only need a very small amount, and I can pre-measure it because I only need 1 seam. I don't have to, okay, for this one, for the black, I needed seam allowance on this side and I needed it for here, right? For this, I only need seam allowance on one side. The other side's getting rolled into the quilt edge. I'd make a cute dress out of that fabric. It would make yeah, oh yeah, I'm going to double check and triple check. I'm also going to double check and triple check on all, I'm going to double check and triple check on all my measurements. I'm going to double check and triple check against how much of this I have because, yeah, now this is interesting. This is probably going to do side to side, up and down. I'm probably going to go up and down the sides with this because it's nice and long and can work. So I think what I'm going to do I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start. This is not big enough. This is not even remotely big enough. So I'm going to start with this. It's going to sound fucked up, but bear with me. I'll let you know what I'm going to do, but then I'm going to be doing most of it. It depends on what I get back to. So I'm going to be cutting this. I'll do my measurements and then probably cut this into 2-inch strips, right? Top, bottom. Do all 5 of them. And then I'll take what's left over of this. Then I'll take this and do my strips side to side and do all of them separately. Because the last one, like I said, the way that I can logistically place things, I can make the last one a bit of a Frankenstein, extra pieces, and you won't. This pattern is so busy. Look at this. This pattern is so busy, so incredibly busy, that you go like that, right? Imagine that you're not seeing what's really happening here, but this pattern is so busy that if I have to sew 2 pieces together, look at that. You can't even see it. Oh, it's not quite on camera, right? But there's not really. You can't really see where it goes together, no matter where it ends up going together. Fabric Stein. Yeah, exactly. So if I have to take 2 pieces of this and sew them to, like if all I have left means I have to take this and cut 2 pieces and then sew them together end to end to make them fit on one of these, I can do that and you won't notice. You really won't notice. Like unless it's almost, this particular fabric is so busy that look, like, it's there, but glance away and glance back. And I dare you to find, you guys are probably looking at a much bigger image. You won't see it, especially if it's on the block that's closest to the bottom, because that's going to be the out of the way one that you don't really see when you're looking at a quilt. Like, look at that. 3 layers. You can kind of tell here because it's folded over, but yeah, it's really easy. So I can Franken quilt the last one. I can Franken piece the last one to make it all fit. That's what I'm going to be doing. That's what the rest of my afternoon is going to look like. And now that I've got this, because I don't, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 3 inches total, 3 inches divided by 2 plus ½ inch seam allowance. So 2 inches top and bottom. 2 inches top and bottom will get me what I want, but I'll probably do each side. I'll probably do 2 inches and 2 inches. And then on my sides, I just need 2.5 total. So 1 3/4. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing. That's the rest of my day. Okay, I'm going away. I got to go eat my din-dins. I got to go eat my McDinner. Yeah, well, thanks for hanging out while I did the boring part. Well, okay, this is kind of the fun part, but this is kind of the fun part, but it's also kind of the boring part. But once I have these on, everything else is just cut it, make a block, cut it, make a block, cut it, make a block. It's going to go together really quickly once these are done. So anyway, I'll be back. I'll be back soon. I'll be back. I'm hoping to come back by Friday, but we will see. And in the meantime, you guys have a great week. And I will, I'm hopefully I'm going to finish most of it on camera, because I would love to be able to start doing more of that. But anyway, in the meantime, I'm going to put those there so I don't want to iron things. It's starting to get hot in the house. So I don't want to iron things. So I like to keep things a little bit more careful. I'm being a little bit more careful these days. Anyway, I'll let you guys go. Have a great day. I will see you soon. Bye.